An open letter to Volmit. The irrelevance is coming from inside the inbox. Dear Volmit, thank you once again for shoving your latest irrelevance into my inbox like a door-to-door salesman peddling expired coupons for Radio Shack. You've outdone yourself this time, forwarding a dusty legal document for Jeremy Hill's divorcing proceedings like you're Indiana Jones uncovering the Ark of the Covenant. Problem is the case is closed, resolved, dead, and no amount of your shriveled Substack tantrums is going to exhume it for a second act. But I get it. You're desperate. This has nothing to do with Jeremy, Valmet. This is about you. This is about your aching need to be seen, to be taken seriously, to be relevant again. Every mail you send screams the same thing. Look at me, I used to matter. But you didn't. Not then, and certainly not now. You weren't a journalist then. You were a keyboard pervert with delusions of grandeur, handing out tips like Halloween candy and confusing basic research with stalking. You are not breaking stories, Mike. You're breaking down. But of course, it was never about the facts. It was never about the truth. It was never about justice or journalism or whatever delusion that you're shoveling into your latest Substack tantrums. This has always been about you, your desperate late-stage attempt to cling to the last thread of relevance by attaching yourself like a parasitic leech to anyone with a functioning platform. You are the digital equivalent of a middle-aged man showing up at a college party uninvited, wearing his Letterman jacket and asking who wants to hear about his glory days. Your attempt to smear people by digging through old court records is kind of limp, lazy tactic that even TMZ would find too cringe. Sending a document from a resolved family court case in 2022, what's next? Forwarding someone's old Blockbuster rental history? But let's be honest, you didn't send that document because it was newsworthy. You sent it because it was easy. You think that because you can type Jeremy Hales into a court records database, you've cracked some Watergate-level scandal. You didn't uncover anything. You didn't investigate. You didn't even contextualize. You just forwarded paperwork like a petty ex who thinks dropping an old voicemail makes him a truth teller. You didn't even know what you were trying to prove anymore. Jeremy had a divorce? Well, no shit, Sherlock. You're going to need to do better than that, Chief. People get divorced every day. Some even escape marriages with less embarrassment than you bring into your own life. You treat every piece of paperwork like it's a smoking gun, but you never seem to realize that the only thing getting shot down is your credibility. It's like getting halfway there and not able to perform. So here's the truth, Mikey. You're not an investigative journalist. You're a digital squatter. You camp out in the inboxes and comment sections of people greatly more successful than you will ever be, tossing around PDFs like monkey dung and hoping that something sticks. So you want a comment? I'll give you one. Multiple women accusing you of exploitation, manipulation, and deception. Allegations of emotional and physical abuse. Distributing confidential medical records of your own child for content. Threatening a social worker until mistrial was declared. Spending your days in mommy's condo while pretending you're Woodward and Bernstein rolled into a Reddit mod. Threatening a social worker until a mistrial was declared. You're the first guy to point fingers and the last asshole to look in the mirror. And every time you get called out, you do the same dance. A rant, a block, a post, a pity play. It's like watching a toddler slam their juice box on the table and scream, "Pay attention to me." You want more commentary, Valmet? Well, here it is. Your Substack should be filed under Confessions of a Deranged Edgelord. You're not an advocate. You're not a whistleblower. You're not even a journalist. You're just a punchline in a joke that stopped being funny the third time you sent a court filing as a gotcha. You didn't fall from grace. You swan dove into disgrace, cannonballing into your own pool of self-righteous excrement and daring anyone to call it clean water. You preach about accountability while dodging your own, from allegations of physical abuse to threats against social workers to distributing confidential medical records of your own child to win some social media pissing contest. You scream about protecting your children while allegedly traumatizing your own. Let's not forget the women, the real women, the ones who lived with you, the ones who made the mistake of trusting you, the ones who now speak out not because they want fame, but because you turn their lives into your self-aggrandizing content buffet. You love to call out grifters, but you never seem to mention the money you took under the table, the favors you begged for, the child you refused to support, the stories you fabricated. You act like getting a judge to throw out a case because of your unhinged involvement is proof of your journalistic credentials. It's not. It's proof that you're unstable, you're reckless, and utterly unfit to speak on anyone's behalf, especially victims. You think you're exposing people, but all you're doing is projecting. Every accusation you hurl is a confession, moron. Every email you send is a window into your own obsession with control, with narrative, with yourself. Let me be very clear. You are the villain in every short story that you write. Even your own son doesn't get spared from your need to be the center of attention. That's not journalism. That's narcissism with a keyboard and a fetish for PDFs and whatever pieces of dingleberries you can scrape from the ass cheek of paint chips. Let me get a divorce order. Let me send something back, a mirror. Look into it, Volmit. You won't see a truth teller. You'll see a grown man trying to claw relevance out of the ashes of failed relationships, court sanctions, and a collapsing reputation. You'll see the coward who couldn't face fatherhood, who ran from responsibility, and who now flails at strangers online because no one who actually knows you will pick up the phone anymore. And since you want to dig into people's private family members, why don't we turn the spotlight where it belongs, on you? The grown man in his 40s still living in mommy's condo, the keyboard warrior who couldn't support his own son but found $12,000 to hand to a woman who ghosted him in the moment the check stopped clearing. The self-proclaimed father who got caught screaming at a baby over FaceTime, then had the gall to claim he could read his emotions from 3 states away. You're not a dad, you're a tantrum in search of a witness. Let's not forget the trail of women you've left emotionally scorched. Victims, survivors, single mothers, each one more broken from their time in your orbit. You don't lift up people, Mike, you drain them. You use their trauma to fuel your ego, their pain to pad your follower count. You don't tell stories, you steal them, mutilate them, and repackage them as proof that you still matter. You are a predator with a publishing platform. Your obsession with Jeremy Hales has passed creepy and gone straight into restraining order territory. You've been radio silent on your own failures, but you can't stop yapping about a guy who simply moved on with his life. And you can't stand that he did. You hate that people respect him, follow him, listen to him. You hate that he didn't crumble under your recycled accusations and secondhand smear jobs. You want to be famous? Congratulations, you're infamous. You are the cautionary tale, the ghost of clickbait future, the unpaid intern of outrage culture who never got promoted past creepy. Let's call your bluff, Valmet. You want to talk court? Fine. Let's talk about your trail of toxicity, the exes, the lawsuits, the custody battles, the confidential records you allegedly handed to strangers on USB drives like some perverse secret Santa. Let's talk about how you manipulate desperate people, especially women, to fuel your deranged fantasy of journalistic martyrdom. Let's talk about the fact that you exploit trauma for cash, and when called out, you throw tantrums and start forwarding documents. You're not a journalist. You're a gossip columnist with delusions of grandeur. You're not an advocate. You're an arsonist lighting fires in other people's lives and blaming the smoke on winds. You don't fight for victims. You create them. The saddest part, you'll hear this. You'll stew. You'll froth at the keyboard and start composing another one of your third grade reading level Substack manifestos. And deep down, even you will know it won't matter. Because no matter how loud you scream, no matter how many PDFs you forward, no matter how many women you exploit, documents you misrepresent, or inboxes you invade, you will never be the story. You will just be the joke, because you're not exposing anything except your own decay and rot. Signed, Shizzy Wiznut. Just a dude with Velcro shoes, a short bus schedule, first of his name, ruler of the short bus syndicate, still more credible than you in your mom's living room, and more relevance in one live stream that you've had in your entire Substack tantrum spiral.
It is about time. Let's break this mother down. With Shizzy Wiznut.